Hey guys, welcome to RC Extras. I'm Sicken.
And Jason Drake.
And today we are doing a top 5 beer edition.
Yep, top 5.
Beer edition. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say you go ahead and go first.
Alright, me go first this
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Alright, so for my number 5, I'm going to go ahead and go with Sam Adams Cold Snap. Honestly, it's one of those, it's like, it's crisp. It's kind of, in my mind, it's kind of like a Blue Moon, but like a little bit more of like, it's spiced, kind of like a Belgian white, like a Blue Moon is, but it's a little bit more, I don't know if hoppy is the right word, a little more spiced. But I like it, I dig it. It comes around in the springtime. It's a seasonal Sam Adams, but that's probably my number 5 if I had to pick.
One I'm not familiar with. Haven't even heard of this one. Heard of
Okay.
different Samuel Adams beers.
Okay.
I'm not genuinely a Samuel Adams fan.
Okay.
But I've had a few, they're tolerable to me. I wouldn't go out of my way to get them.
Alright.
If you hand me one, I'll drink it.
Yeah, that's one of the few. So
Yeah.
don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I
I got
am not
you.
a huge Sam Adams guy, but that's one of the few.
But again, that's one I've not even heard of, so now I'm kind of interested in it. My number 5, I'm a little more basic.
Okay.
I'm going with Miller Genuine Draft.
Okay. All right.
I like the clean, crisp taste of a Genuine Draft, and
Alright.
it's just, for me, it's just a nice beer on a hot day that's just enjoyable. That's not your typical light beer.
Okay.
It has a little bit of flavor, a little bit of bulkiness to it.
I can get down with that.
And what about your number 4s?
Alright. So for my number 4 comes from Dogfish Brewing and Dogfish Head Brewing. It is the Sea Quench Sour Ale. Now, I was so against, well, it wasn't against, but like everybody was getting into sour ales, and I'm just like, that doesn't sound great to me, and it's not something I'm going to go out and spend money on. And then after a knockdown, drag-out match with Jesse O'Ryan one night, I was out at the bar, and we were all out together after the show, EWA, and I think his wife had one, and she was like, try this out. And I was like, all right, fair enough. I'll try it. I don't have to like really go. And the bartender was like, yeah, sure. Here's a sample. I was like, all right, cool. Tasted it. I've been trying sour beers ever since. I can't knock them anymore.
Now
I do
you're-
like sour
now you're
beers.
stuck on 'em.
Not completely. Like I had one earlier tonight, but I like the sour beers. And I gotta say, as far as which one I'd put in my list, be the one that got me onto them in the first place, which is the Sea Quench Sour Ale.
I can say it, I've never had that one. The only actual sour beers that I've even tried are ones that you've had, that you've let me try. I don't hate them, because typically if I have a regular beer, I will put lemon or lime in it. So it brings that sour taste. But I find myself on the ones that you gave me almost wanting to put a little bit of salt in it to level it out. If that makes any sense.
No, I can understand that. That's fair.
I'm way more basic than he is, and my 4th one is just a straight Budweiser. Straight Budweiser, no light, no ice, just a good old Budweiser beer. I love a good old Budweiser. That's America's beer, and it's one of the first beers that I ever had. That was like my family beer back in the day, so it was one of the first beers that I ever, actually it was the first beer that I ever had. So I guess that's more nostalgia, but if you give me a good old Budweiser, I'm going to drink it. If I go to the bar, I will normally just order a Budweiser because it's always a safe bet. And I do not get headaches from Budweisers, unlike most of everybody around me that complains, I can't drink a bunch of Budweisers because I get a headache. Doesn't affect me. I don't know what it is about Budweisers that causes that issue. If somebody out there knows, please let me know. If you get headaches from it, let me know. Curious about that, actually.
Interesting. And you know what? It's funny because, Budweiser, I don't know if you're a fan of it, but Sons of Anarchy, I always notice, like, that's the one beer they always crack is, like, Budweiser's. I was like, oh, snap. And I got a little Budweiser kick while I was watching that
Yeah, I mean, also, if you remember, that was, good old Steve Weiser.
show. Of course, Steve Weiser.
So-
Drink, I'm going to get in my truck, drink some Steve
I
Weisers.
also kind of feel like that's people's genuine, like when they first typically go out and have their first beer, they get to go to the bar for the first time when they're 21. Typically, I would see people order a Budweiser because that's kind of like, if you think in general of beers for America, you think Budweiser.
I mean, that's fair. I will say, mine isn't on my list or my honorable mention, so I'll throw it out. My first one was a Natty Boh.
Okay.
I'm not even going to
Yeah.
list, because I'm from Baltimore. Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore County, but like grew up Baltimore City. A little
It's
bit
cool, I'll be
sometimes,
honest.
But somebody was like Natty Bo, and I was like, all right, cool.
I'll be cool. I'll be honest. Natty Bo, Natty Light, no natties on my list anywhere. So.
Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out, Baltimore, county
Yeah.
boy, Baltimore
Right.
County boy, Natty Bo. But anyways, that was my first. But
Number 3.
Number 3.
all right, so
That's the
number
two.
3 for me would be, is probably Heavy Seas Tropicana. For a long time, I was on the loose cannon and the double cannon kick. It's an IPA. It's Tropicana. It's like it's their loose cannon, and it's got like a little bit of like a citrusy sort of
Citrus vibes.
citrus vibe to it. It's the Tropicana. It's more their summer IPA.
No,
But-
are those the ones that have like the grapefruit like flavors?
Yeah, it's
and
like
the orange
grapefruit,
and stuff like-
orange.
okay.
Yeah. So I like that one. One, because it's got a little bit more of a flavor to it than just your average IPA. I do like IPAs because I'm a fan of like, if I'm gonna have a few beers, like I just want to have a couple beers and be good.
Right.
Not have to drink like 6 Miller Lights or something. I'd rather just have 2 IPAs and be like, all right, cool, now I feel good and we're good and I don't need to drink anymore. But if I have to go IPA, Tropicana's been like one of my go-tos recently, and we are getting to the warmer weather, so it just feels right.
Yeah. Again, I haven't had that particular one. I know I've had some of your citrusy, like I know you gave me a grapefruit one time.
Yeah.
Again, I'll drink it. Not something I particularly go and look for
That's
when it
fair.
comes to that,
That's
but not bad. I would drink it. My number 3, and I do believe you'll remember this one, Honey Browns.
Oh yeah, we've had
Honey
those.
Browns.
We've had those before. Yeah.
Honey Brown is a nice. I like the amber lagers and the dark lagers. So it's a
Okay.
lager, and it's brewed with that hint of honey in it. So it's got a little bit of a sweet back note to it.
That's fair.
But it's a good.
That's
It's
fair.
not. It's definitely by no means a chug beer.
Mm-mm.
It is not a beer pong beer or flip cup beer. It is a sit out by the bonfire and have a nice beer that's relaxing and refreshing and calms you down and has a nice little back kick aftertaste of honey.
That's fair. Speaking of beer,
There you go.
there we go.
I
Nice
like the
sweet
way
one.
the
Cracking it
bottle
up. That's why I disappeared for a
What's
minute.
that?
It was
I like the way
cracking
the bottle's shaped. The Honey Brown's bottle.
Honey brown bottles are shaped like normal beer bottles.
Okay, I was thinking of a different
It's
one.
cool. You can see it when you put it up on the screen.
Yes.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, it's a normal bottle. I know what you're talking about. There is I believe there's another brand. I think Genesee is what makes. If I remember
yeah.
correctly, Genesee is what makes Honey Browns. But there's another beer that's, I almost want to say it's like an off-brand of Honey Browns, and I think that's what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I've had those too, and I mean they taste pretty damn similar, but
Gotcha,
they're
gotcha.
not Honey Browns.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
And number 2.
The Deuce Spot.
All right, number 2. I'm gonna go, and normally I don't like these type of beers, and I think the reason that I chose this one is because it's another seasonal one. A lot of people will go with Oktoberfest around October. Don't get me
Okay,
wrong.
see, that's the Samuel Adams that I'm familiar with, and I do not mind Oktoberfest.
I like Sam Adams Oktoberfest myself, but I like the Pumpkin from Southern Tier. It's more expensive. It's one of those ones you get. It's a 4-pack for
It's
like
a
$12 or
pumpkin
something.
beer, correct?
Yeah, but it's not one of those ones that like kicks you in the mouth with sugar and sweetness, which is what I'm like, all right, if I want like a milkshake, I'm gonna have a milkshake. If I want pumpkin pie, I'm gonna have pumpkin pie. But like,
I don't want it in my beer.
I want a beer with if it's a pumpkin beer, I want a hint of pumpkin, but I also want some notes of like some other spices and stuff they threw in. Southern Tier is usually really good about that, and the pumpkin was like one of the ones I had when I was like 22, and I had it like one of my friends was like, here, try this, and I was like, I don't really like pumpkin beer, and they're like, no, it's good. And I had it, and I was like, all right, cool. And every time I've seen it around Halloween, around October, Thanksgiving, I try to get it, especially around Thanksgiving, after the whole holiday, they kind of go on sale typically. If they're left over in clearance, you'll find them. So always a good option around the fall.
See,
fall
on
holidays.
the other hand of you, on what you're saying, I don't want pumpkin in my beer. That sounds fucking disgusting. I'll leave it at that.
That's fair. It was just one of those things I tried, and I was like, this is a lot better than I normally would have given it credit for.
Your palate for other types of beer than regular what people know as beer is definitely up there past
Yeah, I
mine.
drink a lot of different stuff.
And that's fine.
I'm adventurous.
He's the fancy one. I'm the non-expensive one.
adventurous.
Yeah, we'll call it that. So my number 2 pick, I legit believe they do not make it anymore.
Okay.
I haven't seen it in our area in years.
Okay.
I think you can actually still order it from the manufacturer and have it like shipped to you.
Okay.
It was Miller Fortune.
Oh, see, and the funny thing was, in my top 5, I was honestly thinking about that because I remember you and me drank that like.
I love
all
Miller
the
Fortune.
time.
Miller Fortune was a rich yet crisp beer,
Mm.
but it was also 6.9% alcohol.
It was like Miller's answer to Bud Light Platinum,
Yes.
only it had a cooler look. It had the spade. It was like a spade. on
It had
the
a
bottom,
very
right? Gray and
cool
black.
logo, and it was unlike Platinum. It was a lager. type
Yeah,
beer.
it
It was
wasn't-
very dark in color.
Yep.
Not quite to like Guinness level, but more of like a Yingling-y color.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like thick going down, but it had a very unique and, like I said, crisp taste.
Mhm.
So when you drank it, after like 3, you didn't realize how fast you drank 3, and then you
Oh,
went
and
to
you-
stand up, and
yeah.
you're like, oh. But yeah, so I definitely that's up there, and I think probably up there because it was my beer for a long time until it disappeared.
I remember.
And now I can't find it anywhere.
I think you
So
were
if
the
you
one.
know where to get it, comments.
Yeah, I think you were the one that got me
Miller.
onto that. Good time.
Yeah.
They even had it at the Buffalo Wild Wings down the street. They had like
They had it a lot of places.
They did. It was good. It was around for like a year and a half, and then I was like, where did it
Yeah,
go?
so whoever decided to like discontinue that or stop buying it in our area, hate you.
Before we get to honorable mentions,
Oh,
I noticed that Jason had a beer, and my trainer Nick did not have one.
I do not.
So
I do not have
here
one.
it is.
I've,
There you go.
I've been
All right,
sitting.
all right.
I've been sitting here drinking water.
Oh man, see, I snuck over and I grabbed one while you were giving an answer.
Yeah, you
could've
understand?
totally-
He snuck over and grabbed one. Didn't grab me.
I didn't
one.
realize you didn't have. I'm sorry.
So cheers to honorable mentions. Here we go.
All right, do you want me to start all 3 of mine like we just? Okay.
I was gonna say you can start yours. Go.
All
for
right,
it.
so for my 3 honorable mentions in order as they go.
It's not gonna be one normal beer.
Yeah, so the first, maybe. Hey,
Oh.
we'll see.
Okay.
You might know these ones. So I don't know why I've always liked this. I think it's because my stepdad got me onto these when I was like, 22, just trying new beers, and he liked them. Killian's Irish Red. It's it's a smooth one.
I am familiar with that one.
Yeah,
That one's
see?
okay.
See, very smooth. I like Irish Red beers. Very smooth. Good times. We talked about this. Your Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Always got to make it. I remember there was one
Make it or
time
break it, brother.
one of the bars I used to work for. That's how they paid us for our bar meetings. They were like, "All right, cool. You can either clock in, or we can order pizza, and you can drink Oktoberfest, and that'll be your pay." And we were like,
Taking the pizza and the
pizza
beer.
and Oktoberfest game rather than an hour worth of pay for sure.
Yeah.
And a restaurant work, you're
That's
not.
going towards the beer anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And then my last honorable mention, it's a PA beer. It's pretty strong. It's a Belgian triple. It is Victory Golden Monkey.
I have no idea what he's
Okay,
talking
so
I
it's a
do know
Belgian triple.
You know that
it's
one?
almost it's over 9% alcohol. I remember I was at a bar one time, my favorite bar, Papa's, out in Cockeysville. I have some good friends there. If you're ever around the area, check that out. Good food,
4
good
point
beer.
something.
It is 9% alcohol, and I had 2 of those, and luckily I wasn't driving because all I had was 2, and I'm like, I'm probably good, not realizing 9% how strong that was. Stood up, hadn't eaten enough, and I was like, whoa, okay, I'm glad I'm not driving. My buddy Dave was.
That was me
But-
on Fortunes.
But yeah, I see him on Fortunes, but no,
I stood up and saw my fortune.
good times. But that's my honorable mentions.
So I
Yours.
got it. Before I get to my honorable mentions, I have a great idea. I hate IPAs. I'm not an IPA person. So we got to do like Logan makes me try IPAs, and we'll see how much I shit on them.
That's fair. No, that's a good. If y'all want to see that, let me know because I like IPA. I like all kinds of beers. We can do like one round of make Nick try sours, then make Nick try IPAs. He'll probably like the sours more than the IPAs. But if y'all want to see that, let us know. If y'all want more of that content, go for it. But now for your honorable mentions.
My
Sam.
honorable mentions of the cheap white boy that likes to drink beer.
I mean, that's
Hey,
fair.
all right.
Dude, if you
My
don't have to spend money, go
all right,
for
one
it.
of them. Good old Michelob Ultra.
All right.
First of all, one of the things that drew me to that beer to begin with was other than the calorie thing. I love the can. It's slim. It's cool. Fits in your hand nicely.
That's fair.
It's just a nice
That's fair.
beer. Kind of looks like an energy drink. I don't know.
Dude, don't go
I just
mistaking
don't.
that for a Red
it's just
Bull.
it's just one of those things that I like. I'm like, you know what? I want a lighter beer today. It's not overly priced for me to get a case for
fair.
myself.
That's good.
And it's clean, it's crisp. I can do whatever, I can chug it, I can sip on it, whatever. Coors Light. Come on, it's Coors.
I mean, that's
Rocky
fair.
Mountain Cold.
How
I
about
love
a light beer?
If you
usually
don't
go
like the
Coors.
fact that the Rocky Mountains will show you that they're cold and that your beer is cold, come on.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
also, it's just a nice summertime, Chris sitting down drinking beer.
that's fair.
And then honorable mention number 3,
Yeah.
good old
yeah.
Key, aka just the cheaper version of Coors Light, also made by Coors Light.
Dude, the greatest part was that
This is
summer-
when I didn't have enough money to buy Coors. Found Keys.
Do you remember find the orange can, and we found like
Yes.
5 of them?
Yes.
As a group,
And
we were just getting those.
Never turned it in to collect our prizes. Somewhere I still have 2 of those cans.
Bad idea.
I know.
You might be able to sell them now. Anyways,
They do.
all right.
And guess what?
What?
It's time
Well,
for number 1.
Oh! All right. So for my number 1 beer, this one, once again, it's a little bit more of an obscure beer. It's well known in our area to a lot of people, but it's called the Misfit Red from Duclaw.
Okay,
It
I've
was
heard of
rated
that.
one of Baltimore's best brewery beers. Duclaw is sort of a local area, and my uncle used to work for them, so he used to like get me growlers of like Misfit Red for like pretty cheap. But this was like just like the Killian's Irish Red. This is my favorite Irish Red. I do have Irish in my background along with Scottish and English. It's a whole big, mutt of United Kingdom in me. But
yes.
so I, naturally predisposed to Irish Reds, and then I love the Misfit Red. It was a good beer to begin with, and then on top of just being a good Irish Red, it was voted one of Baltimore's best beers back in the day. Won an annual best beer, so
I
definitely a
believe that
good
I've
one.
actually had that before, but I couldn't pinpoint any flavors or
Yeah,
anything.
no, I feel you. It's
I
one of
believe it
those-
was just given to me when I was at the bar, so there wasn't
That's
a
fair.
bottle, it was in a glass, so there's
Yeah.
nothing I can readily identify
Fair,
of it.
fair.
My number 1 pick is actually I almost said Miller, the Budweiser Copper Lager, which the Budweiser Copper Lager is actually put together and is a collaboration between Budweiser and Jim Beam.
Interesting.
The beer is brewed and then it is put into one of the Jim Beam barrels and ran through the
Okay.
Jim Beam barrel. So the beer actually has a little bit of the oaky flavor and some of the vanilla and caramel flavors of the Jim Beam run through the beer.
Okay.
It is a heavier percent. I believe it is also like a 6.9,
Okay.
maybe a 7. It is just, out of all the beer collaborations that I've seen, there was I think DeCall actually did it, the one with Old Bay, and they had the, whatever that
Oh
was
no,
called.
no, so that is
Or
Fly-
Dogfish?
yeah, that's
Flying Dog.
Dog.
Flying Dog.
Dog did. It's the
I forget what it was called.
It's an
but-
Old Bay beer,
Yes.
and definitely it's.
I forget what it was called, but out of all the little collaborations, my favorite, well, I'll ruin it for you if we ever do whiskey. My favorite whiskey is Jim Beam.
There you go.
There's a specific one, so it's not just normal Jim Beam, but having a beer mixed, it's not like there's Jim Beam in the beer. It's not like they mix them together, but it's the flavor that casts through, and you get hints of different whiskey notes.
Okay.
It's nice, it's refreshing. Funny enough, my dad is a very normal beer drinker. He's like, just give me a Miller Lite or a Budweiser or something
Yeah.
very simple. My dad became a huge fan of
Okay.
them. My mom became a huge fan of them too when I was buying them. I haven't been able to find them recently, and my mom and dad both hate whiskey.
Interesting.
So for
Okay.
the fact that they liked it and were like, when you go out, get us a case too, I feel like that's a very good top beer to have, that if people that don't like and enjoy those notes and flavors enjoyed it, I suggest trying it if you can find it.
All right. Well,
It also came in a very cool ass bottle that you would
That's
like.
the bottle I
That's
was
the bottle
thinking
you're
of.
thinking of.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it'll be on the screen if you guys haven't seen it.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Now that is another one of Riot
gonna
City's
wrap it up.
top 5s on Riot City Extras.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching, hanging out with us, and always,
Drinking with us.
drinking with us. And
Welcome
to Riot City. See ya.